Broads, you already know we love Jenni Kayne for all of our timeless premium wardrobe staples, but did you know that Jenni Kayne is also one of our favorite places to shop for home goods and furniture?
It sure is. Jenni Kayne perfectly blends natural textures and materials with clean, modern aesthetics. It's everything. The pieces are stunning, and every item is handcrafted and built to be with you for a lifetime.
I'm obsessed with all Jenni Kayne's smaller home accents as well, like the cashmere blankets and the tapestries, and of course their line of expertly crafted candles. Yes, yes, yes. They make perfect gifts as well, so I always make sure to have a few extra on hand.
Funny you say that. I got one of their gorgeous candles for my sister, and she was like, oh my God, this is beautiful. It looks amazing.
The best gifts.
Find your forever pieces at jennikayne.com. Get 15% off your first order when you use code CHATTY at checkout. And for a limited time, that also includes furniture. So that's 15% off your first order at JENNIKAYNE.com. Promo code CHATTY.
And welcome to another episode of Chatty Broads with Becca and Jess.
Well, hello, broads.
Good morning. Everyone told me what I was referencing, like on the last episode or some episode last week. I was saying like, good morning, something family, and I couldn't figure out what it was from.
Yeah.
Extreme Home Makeover.
Oh,
good morning, Broads family. Ty Pennington, you guys remember him?
Oh, I remember Ty.
What
Did
a
you ever
freak,
watch?
Dude, that guy was.
Broads, Jimanekia is back. Thank the Lord.
Yeah, for any new listeners,
not knowing of TV.
You never watched Extreme Home Makeover?
Oh my God, it was.
Dude, I've also never watched The Bachelor.
That's
and
fine.
I know y'all talk, and I'm always like.
No.
I feel like Extreme Home Makeover was like a part of our generation, though. Like growing up, like I remember watching that show quite often.
They would just flip that house real quick, and everyone
like
would
an
have
episode. I feel like now I watch that. Like I watched hours of Love and Enlisted the other Enlisted.
Yes.
The HGTV shows.
Yeah.
They're good.
If you enjoy that, Extreme Home Makeovers.
No, they make over everyone's house in like 48 hours, and they'll do like a quick consult, like 15 minutes, and they'll be like, so like, what are you into, to like the kid of the family, you know? And he'll be like, well, like I rode horses once, like in second grade. And then like 48 hours later, they're like, and we made your room into a horse stable. There's real horses. Like there's saddles all over the walls. Like you love it. That's like basically the show.
It was
so it's like the house.
And usually like someone has cancer in the family or something.
Right.
Like
Yeah.
it's usually like they're so deserving, and then they get the house.
It's like the
makeover.
house version of Pimp My Ride.
Yes,
exactly.
Exactly.
That was a
Exactly.
shit show.
Oh, yeah.
I know. I read like, I never even watched that show,
I
and then I
went back
read
and read
the behind the scenes, and I was like, yeah, it was fake.
drama.
Like basically, like
Yeah.
they wouldn't, like a bunch of stuff was like not even. They would put like a jacuzzi in someone's car, and it like wasn't even functional. It was,
Or
like,
they would
fake.
take it out, and then your car looks like that. And it's like, I brought you my crap, and now it's unfunctional. At least it worked.
That's okay. So Trading Spaces was like,
oh my God, I was obsessed with
where
that.
Ty Pennington started. It was like a Love It or Listed, but they had two rooms in two different homes, and they'd compete basically.
It would be like me and Jess.
Yeah.
We would switch houses and have to decorate each other's houses with the guidance
With
of
a designer.
With the guidance of a designer.
Well, sometimes they would look really nice,
Sounds
right?
like a setup.
Well, I have a friend who went on it, and
Oh.
that was all
Did she get
plywood
paired-
shit.
Did she?
She was like, my house fell
Hidden
apart in like
secrets.
2 months. Everything was just like,
Because again, it
Just
was
all
like
fell
48
apart.
hours.
yeah.
They also had like this one designer that would
so
do
mad at this.
really tacky shit. Do you remember this woman in Trading Spaces? She would always do really tacky shit where she'd be like, we're going to cover the entire bathroom in like faux flowers. We're going to
hate it.
staple individual faux flowers.
I would
and
walk
cover
in
the
my
entire
house
walls.
like,
That is what people would do.
What is
Or like
this?
one time she did all the furniture out of like cardboard, and it was like an edgy thing. Can you imagine? I'd be livid.
Honestly,
I'd be pissed.
I wouldn't hate this during the COVID times because I feel like in the boredom sometimes I'm like, what would it be like to have a bathroom covered in flowers? I would hate it originally, but now I would just be like, every time I'd walk into it, I'd be kind of like,
Is it going to be dusty though? Like, is it now holding dust?
Yes.
oh,
The
God.
answer is yes.
Germs? What if you're not I was watching TikTok
Mold
videos. You
in
gotta
bathrooms?
put the seat down because then the germs, every time you flush, it's just
Yeah, go
things
all over.
floating. They're in the flowers now.
I didn't think about that. I didn't think about that. You know, God bless TikTok sometimes. I've really
I've
learned
so
a lot.
much.
Yeah.
I put my trash bags on wrong the other day. I was like,
What, you guys, do you know the toilet seat cover thing? Maybe I should make a TikTok of this. I should make a TikTok of it.
tell
The
us.
toilet seat covers, like, okay, when you have the flap of the toilet seat cover, the flap is usually close. Like if you're standing in front of the toilet, the flap's usually closest to you, right? Like you pop it
Sure.
down
Yeah.
by your vagina
Yeah.
when you pee. When you look at the shape of it, we've been doing it backwards. Look at the shape of the toilet. Yeah. Look at the shape of the toilet.
We're doing great as adults, everyone.
We really are.
And just flip that baby around.
TikTok.
All right.
Love
Anyway,
that.
that's not what we're talking about today.
Not sure why that started, but thank you so much for being back with us. Broads, if you didn't listen to our original episode that we had with Jimanekia, aka the Trauma Queen,
That was
It's like a year.
while
Well, we've
ago.
been
No,
in
it's been
Panorama.
over a
Yeah, I was
year.
like, we've been in a Panorama for a year.
I love that new thing, by the way, how people do that.
I just use any P word.
Yeah, that's what I really like now.
And a
The panini,
We're in a placenta.
Pandera. Pandera, that's not even a word. I meant Panera.
fine.
Panera, Pandera.
Fine.
Pandora,
Pantera,
Panera.
the band Pantera. It was, I think, an old Christian type band. Anyways, but
I was like, are we talking about the Lord today?
we're gonna talk about the Lord and Savior.
We might.
We
to be
probably
honest.
might. But listen, broads, we'll link the episode below. But we had this sex conversation with all these questions that you broads brought to us last week.
That was so fun.
And it was so fun, but there were so many questions that we were like, well, we're gonna need to call Jimanekia to come on and help us with these because it is
Also, we had fun ones too, where we're like, let's continue the conversation with
Yes.
someone else. It's not like we're just gonna be
I'm
consulting the
excited.
trauma queen about
Yeah.
trauma the whole time.
But will you give, for the broads who haven't heard before, will you give a short little bio?
Yeah. Okay. Let me do a short one.
Or a long, I mean, honest.
Yeah, you got time.
Yeah.
Too much shit. Jimanekia Eborn, also known as the Trauma Queen. I'm a busy human.
Blessed and busy.
Blessed and busy. So blessed. So I am my own business, the Jimanekia Project. I have Tending the Garden, which is a retreat for survivors, which I would love to tell you about what we're doing this year.
Yes. I want to hear.
It's gonna be so much fun. I'll give y'all. I'm gonna get y'all some tickets. But so we're doing different events and stuff with that, and expanding on different ways to support survivors that are affordable and that can reach like accessibility. And then my newest business, as I was telling Jess over here, because I start businesses and are in a panorama, is Centurico, where we train intimacy coordinators for film and media. And then Healing Intersections, we do support groups, which I got to hop onto after this. We do support groups for survivors. We have different groups. Web trauma group, which is the different ways that intersect of trauma for LGBTQ plus folks. We have a sex worker group, which is so much fun to go sit in on the stories. And we have a survivor group, and we're thinking about adding some more groups, and we have trainings and all the things. And I'm in school for alternative medicine right now.
I mean,
So every time I see you lecture my school, I'm like,
feeling the energy.
I see you. I'm always like, I get it.
And you know what? We always got to add more, right? There's always good. There's always
I
going to be more.
finished my graduate degree and I was like, I'm going to not go to school. Ooh, they have this graduate certificate about medicine.
Straight up, I'm like almost done with my bachelor's degree after 8 years, and I'm like, I'm not ready for it to be over though.
You know what?
Like,
As long as financial aid keeps giving me coins,
I'm gonna keep learning.
I sure will. Thank you so much.
I love that.
no, for real though. It's like the last time we saw you, you were already very busy. And then when we were messaging, I'm like, how's it going? And it's like, 17 more things, but so amazing.
Oh, and then I now, because I have time, like I said, I now work with an org in LA called Feed the Streets, where we go out and pass out clothes to our houseless neighbors. We pass out foods. We do it every Sunday. Last night was a ball because it was Valentine's Day. We passed out cookies and cards and pizza, and
And that's every Sunday?
we do it every Sunday.
I'm gonna come with
And
you.
now I'm doing because I got time. Now I'm co-running a sex worker portion where we're helping the sex workers on the street because Rona didn't stop that.
Yeah.
So we're doing stuff there. And then, trying to stay sane,
Yeah.
take care of family and relationships. And
We got to include links in the episode notes for all of the different
We're gonna
donation
include all the
involvement.
links. And I want to come on Sunday.
yeah, it's so much fun.
Okay. Speaking of relationships in the Corona times,
I love all our faces.
Are you?
I don't know. I'm like,
I was just
That
saying,
just froze.
have you currently been dating?
I did it.
Okay.
I tasted it a little bit.
Yeah.
I dated a human for a few months. It didn't work.
Okay.
And then I've been dating myself.
Love.
You know, I dated her and I was like, I'm gonna jump on a little penis after this. And I was like, okay, sir. You fucked yourself, okay? We can talk about how people fuck themselves by just, not being honest. And then I've just been dating myself and it's so much fun. Like, I will be in bed and I'm like, you are so fun. Like, I'll just say it out loud. I'm like, you are so much fun.
I am a good time.
Yeah. But it's like so long to get there. Like, I've been dating since I was like 18, like back to back or screwing somebody. And then I was like, oh, I need a break. Like, I take breaks, but like, this has been great. Like, therapy, all the trauma work I've done. And now I'm like, you're so fun. And then I'm like, oh, I'm an adult. I can go do whatever I want. Like, I want some fries. You could get up and get you some fries. You want a vibrator? You could buy a vibrator. Like, do the pleasure things you want. We can talk about that. Like, what dating yourself looks like.
Yeah, like, can we just start there? Because I feel like we had Valentine's. Now this comes out will be a couple days ago. And I was seeing like all the cute couples posts and all that. But I had this like feeling in my bones the whole day where I'm like, I would imagine, especially in the Corona times, it's like there are so many individuals who that's just not even an option, even if they wanted to. And I was just thinking about like, oh my God, like, love just feels different right now to me a little bit. There's something about like human life, just specifically this year, just feels so valuable, and your loved ones around you. And then I'm like, yeah, but also then myself. And I was having this moment where I was with my husband and my kiddo, but then I'm like, I need a Valentine's moment alone today. I need some Valentine's loving by myself. Like, to just
I slept in. That was my Valentine's Day
Look
gift.
at you gifting yourself.
yes.
Oh, it was my boyfriend gifting me. Lord knows. I'm going to have my two little Valentines, yeah.
But yeah, I feel like it was like, that feels just so important to talk about that.
Quick question. Do you guys, this is a little bit off topic, but do you guys feel like holidays in general, like since COVID, have been getting like bigger on social media? Like,
Yeah, you have nothing else to do.
Yeah, I feel
You're
like
everything's a photo shoot now.
I feel like Halloween, Thanksgiving, Christmas, Valentine's Day are like now, like it's like a whole week in advance. People are like posting about Valentine's Day stuff, or like 2-3 weeks in advance. People are posting all their Halloween stuff. I think it's a COVID thing. I feel like maybe it's just me.
No, I think so.
I feel like the past year on social media, like holidays are ramped up.
Yeah, I think it's people's way of feeling some type of connection because they're just so inside.
We're all celebrating something together.
We're talking about TikTok. That's why, I was thinking this the other day. I was like, would TikTok be as booming if we weren't inside doing nothing but making all these, I'm not doing them, doing all these dance routines and steps. Like, right? Like learning all that.
Cut to a clip of Jimanekia in front of
I might have like one or two, but like,
I love it.
Would it be so exciting if we were outside?
Maybe not.
I don't know.
Probably not.
Dating apps and stuff. I'm so glad y'all don't do it. It's awful.
I literally never have.
You're missing all of nothing.
Yeah, I know. That's what I keep hearing, but I still get the FOMO.
Yeah, big FOMO sometimes.
Listen, you can use one of mine. I'll set you an account. You can look at stuff.
Okay.
I don't have the balls to actually ever like call someone, FaceTime someone, or meet up with someone from an app.
The last partner I met, she and I met on OkCupid,
Yeah.
and we met during the panorama.
Yeah.
So it's like dating looks different. Like
Yeah.
our first hike, which I was like, you're trying to fucking kill me. The hike looked like this. I said, I don't think this is. I don't think this is.
If you're
I said,
for me.
I liked going outside and doing stuff, but what is it?
I told Jess about a time a guy took me trail running on our first date.
We would never have a second.
When I tell you, I thought I was going to have to get evacuated in a helicopter off the mountain. I'm literally not joking.
I believe
and
you.
he ran on ahead of me and like came back. Like I was running by myself trying to make it up the mountain.
So
And this man had just done the
ran back
Pacific Crest Trail. He had just been hiking for 6 months and was like, I'll take your trail running.
jeez. I'm just
So
like,
rude. Anyway, enough of that. What you were saying. Yeah. Fuck
But yeah,
that.
dating is tricky. But dating yourself, you want to talk about dating yourself.
Yeah.
So this is something that I tell like survivors, because most of us have trauma. Like we all want these things. We all have these ideas, but like, why can't you do that for yourself? People are like, oh, yeah. I'm like, the dinner that you want to have, you can either order that out, you can cook it yourself. And then you can watch whatever you want to watch. You can not watch them. You can dance in the kitchen. Like for me, what it looks like, I'm like, ooh, well, first I get herbally elevated. It's my favorite way to cook. My friends love it. They set me up. They buy groceries and they're like, hey, girl. I'll make a 3-course meal. Like just out of scratch.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So I like to get herbally elevated, get some music, and then I'll cook.
Wait, you should combine that. You should get, I'll give you a code. Don't worry. This machine called Levo where you can make your own herbal infusions for your food.
Oh, I've seen her.
It's amazing.
I want it, but
It's
I'm like,
amazing.
I don't want to buy it
It's a bit of an investment.
It is. Oh, I've seen it.
Okay. Continue on.
So yeah, you cook for yourself, right? Instead of being like, oh, I wish this person would do it. If you want to get dressed up, get dressed up. And we can talk more about that. And then I'm like, cool, what else do I like to do? What makes me happy? Like feeding myself yummy foods, taking a hot bath, putting, again, wrestling as my life. I'll bring my laptop in there and like put some wrestling on. Or I'll put on like, oh, there's that documentary I wanted to watch. Or put on a podcast. And then spend that time with yourself. Even if you have kids, animals, close the damn door. You're like, this is my time. And then like put whatever candles, whatever kind of scents like that allows you to relax. Like people are like, oh, we can do, yeah. Like, why not? It's cheaper than going to the spa, which we can't go to anyway right now, right?
God, I miss the Korean spa though.
Oh my God. When it opens, you're going to lose me for like 48 hours.
Oh, just
Off the
fully
grid.
submerged.
For broads who are
the grid.
not in like a major U.S. metropolitan area, I feel like that's the only place
Yeah.
they have them. Korean spas,
Heaven sent.
you guys, I didn't know about this till I moved to LA. You basically go, there's female and male sections, or they're just all female, and there's just saunas and hot tubs and cold pools and sometimes ice rooms
Love it.
and
You get
Himalayan
treatments?
salt rooms.
Yes.
They will put you on a table and scrub every inch of you with scrubby pads for like $30.
I do miss that so
My
much.
favorite one is Hugh Spa. Have you ever been there?
No, where's
Yes.
that? Where's that?
The best.
Yeah.
The best.
Hue spa?
Yeah.
Yes.
On the outside, you're like, I might get kidnapped.
You're a little bit like,
Is it
feels
little?
concerning.
It
No.
looks little on the outside. It's very deceiving.
Where is it?
It's like, it's in
Koreatown.
K-Town.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm like,
Okay.
Yeah, K-Town.
Okay.
No, and it's, but then you go inside and it is like, is this Disneyland? There are so many sections. It feels endless. There are
Yeah.
so many different types of spas or saunas, excuse me. It would blow
Jade
your mind.
saunas, Himalayan salt
for
saunas.
$80, which is my favorite, you get a full body scrub and massage and free access to everything for as long as you want.
Yeah. And some of them are open 24 hours, broads.
Now
That's where I'm going to be lost.
Now that is the shit. Open 24 hours.
Yeah.
If you want to go get a massage or like just sit in a sauna at 2 a.m, you can do it.
Yep.
You can do it.
I'm so thankful.
I can't wait.
I'm so thankful that we live.
Aren't you thankful we live in a place and we're paying for stuff that we can't access right now? And
But one day,
Way to bring it down.
sorry to remind
Way
me
to
that
bring
we
it
pay
down.
triple the rent of everywhere else in the country. We can't access anything right now except the beach. Anyway,
and the weather.
I'm so sad again.
and the weather. I know.
And the weather.
But
But yeah, you can do all that for yourself.
Yeah.
All like the facial masks and stuff, you can still buy that stuff. I also love, because I have tendonitis in both my hands, self massages. Like, right? You're like, oh, I can do that. Our hands are the most overused things that we don't even think about. Like, when's the last time you just sat and was like, oh, like we're holding tension in them? Like starting at your wrist, just rubbing up
sounds nice.
into your hands, to your fingertips. Like,
wild.
you can do that while you do anything. And you're like, oh, well, wait a minute. Right? So take your bath, whatever. And then if you're feeling like you want to do something sexy, maybe get in some lingerie for yourself. Maybe do a photo shoot for yourself. Sometimes it's nice to do some photos and look back like, you're a bad bitch. Yeah, you know what? Everyone is welcome. Right?
Yeah.
Like, I do that. Like, thank you. I'll show you the photos. But it's so great. My friend sent me a sign. This is also great. If you need a reminder, my friend sent me this like neon light and it says bad bitch. It's hot pink. which made me think, you. I was like, yes. And it's like hot pink and it like lights up the room. And then I'm just like, oh.
What a mood.
Yeah. And then if you're like, you know what? Maybe I want to try some new things. Maybe I'm feeling a little sexy today. Maybe I'm feeling like I want to play. Get your toys out. If you have toys, you also have hands. These are attached and free. Get those things out. And even so, you know what I also tell people? Yes, no, maybe lists. Do y'all know about the yes, no, maybe list?
No.
Okay. So yes, no, maybe list, just put it into Google. There's different ones. There's like kink ones, like just regular fun sex. There's different positions, different acts that maybe you've never thought of. And you go through and you're like, I've never
say
thought
yes,
of that.
no, or maybe.
Yeah. And then it's also fun if you have if you're doing this for yourself and you're like, I also have a partner, a fun date. They do it. They do it. You do it. You switch. Because then you're like, I didn't know you wanted to try. You see your overlaps.
That's so fun.
And then it's like, maybe you're opening up like conversations, expansion. You're like, oh my God, babe, I was hoping you had wanted to try because I have
that answers a question that some people were asking last week.
All right, broads, we're going to take a quick pause here. If there's one thing that is 100% factual about me as a person, it's that I love to snack. I'm serious about finding the best snacks. And now also I want the healthy ones that are also delicious as possible. So that's what my obsession is. And I pretty much always have a tab open for Thrive Market on my computer now. That's what I figured out works best for me. It is the healthy snack lover's dream marketplace. Thrive Market has become my absolute go-to for all things healthy living too, not just the snacks.
Oh yeah, Thrive Market has ended up saving me so much time every single week. It's my one-stop shop. Well, for my whole house, really, because they have everything from organic groceries to clean beauty and supplements. They've even got pet food and wine. I am currently obsessed with these vegan cheese puffs I found on there. They're impossible to find in store. So I tell you, when I found out Thrive Market carried them, I ordered like 6 bags just to be sure I always had them on hand.
Yes, cheese puffs.
And to make the whole thing even sweeter, they were less expensive on Thrive than they are at the grocery store. And that's true with a lot of their products.
It's very shocking, actually, how much you save. If you want access to Thrive Market's amazing selection of healthy products, all you need to do is become a Thrive member. The Thrive membership is available for $9.95 for a single month. Or if you already know you're going to love it, you can do the 12-month membership for $59.95, which is just $5 a month. And I'm going to tell you this right now. I have the 12-month membership and it's at $5 a month. I save so much money. Like it's just an obvious yes. I have to do it. I will always do it forever.
Well, one thing I really like is you can get really quality. We always get like frozen fish and meats, and there's really good discounts on those, and they're super quality. Anyway, join Thrive Market today to get 25% off your first order, and you're going to get an exclusive free gift too. Also, these free gifts are actually good. The only way to get this offer is by going to thrivemarket.com/chatty. That's THRIVE market.com/chatty to get the exclusive offer of 25% off your first order and a free gift, which you can't get anywhere else. Go to thrivemarket.com/chatty.
Okay, well, I don't want to age myself here, but technology is moving really fast. Okay,
yes,
every
can't
day
keep up.
I can't keep up. Every single day there's some new smart appliance or an app that like predicts my mood via my body temperature or something, whatever it might be. But no matter how fast technology is moving, one thing that stands the test of time and always brings a little moment of joy is a good old-fashioned gamer moment. And no, not just any game. Best Fiends, baby.
Yeah, this is the game we're actually gamers for. I wouldn't exactly call us the gamer type normally.
I'm not a gamer type, but I will game my face off for Best Fiends.
Okay, we've been playing Best Fiends for a while now. We actually have an ongoing friendly competition. Usually I'd be bored of a game by now, but Best Fiends has me hooked because it's a mobile game that has a whole world of lovable characters and thousands of levels to go through. And there's more being added every single week. So, there's always more levels to conquer. Love that.
Always.
I swear, I just can't stop. So I always want to see what new puzzles there are to solve. It's fun to play with other people. Love Best Fiends.
So much fun. I think at one point, you and I had a bet going on something to the effect of loser buys a bottle of champagne for the winner. But at this point, it's safe to say we're just invested in the competition. It might never end.
But we both get champagne.
100%.
Okay.
That sounds great to me. Best Fiends is the perfect game to win or to play anytime and win anytime, baby. Competitive streak. So you can play it anytime, anywhere because it doesn't require any internet to play and you can invest as much or as little time into it as you want and you'll still have the same great experience either way. I love to play when I'm taking a little mommy brain break, honestly. It's the best.
Download Best Fiends free today on the Apple App Store or Google Play. That's friends without the R, Best Fiends.
Yep.
How, like, and I've totally felt this way. Like, I feel awkward, like, you know, I want to try new things, but both people are just kind of like, I don't know, babe, like whatever you want to try. Like,
we can talk about how to have those conversations.
Yeah, let's talk about that. But that's a great starting point. If you're just like, hey, I want to do something fun, like let's do this list. That's approachable.
But it's just great for yourself too, because you're like, oh, like even when you're having self-pleasure, right? Like you can try different things, especially for trauma survivors. We don't often know what our triggers are. So if you're like, you touch this part of your knee and your knee, you kick someone, you're like, maybe I've learned something about my body. So I tell a partner not to do that. And then you can try like, I hate it. Soft touch.
Yeah.
This, not a fan. But if you do this, I'm like, but I learned that about myself. Like I like firm touch. And then maybe if you've had trauma, you're like, I used to love firm touch. Now I don't like that. And so you're practicing the different things.
Wow.
You also can try like what arouses you. Like, maybe before the pandemic, you were like, I love that. Now you're like, I'm exhausted. The thought of that is draining. But this little whisper on my nipple, that now activates me, right? Like you're trying different things and then you explore your body. And then the thing is you are learning the things that you like, so you take it to your partner.
Yeah.
Which we're not playing games. You know, trial and error can be cute, but you're like, hey, we got 20 minutes. The kids can get up. Okay, here's the things I know I like that we'll both have fun. Let's do it.
Yeah.
Versus like, okay, well, I guess we could.
Let's workshop this.
Oh, well, shit. She's awake. All right, well, next time.
Yeah.
Right?
Totally.
And then, so if we want to have those conversations, I always say have those conversations outside of the bedroom.
Yeah.
Like somewhere that you both feel comfortable. Kind of like set the timing, like, hey, let's set a time to talk about it versus like, hey, you want to cuddle? So I've been thinking. And they're like, what the?
Or like what I need, what I really need. That's what always happens if you're like unsatisfied with something in sex. It comes up during sex. Sometimes that's not great, you know?
Right. So I like to do check-ins when I'm dating people. 3 months, 6 months, whatever. I'm like, hey, can we just do a check-in? Just so you can open up that conversation of like, so you've been doing this shit, it's really disturbing me. Can we talk about it? Like, I don't know why that was my thing, but like there's things
The winking.
The sound.
I was just like, they're always winking at you because I would hate that. I'm gonna stop winking at me all the
You're
time.
stressing me out, right? Like there's things that your partners do, and then you're like, hey, so can we talk about that? Because now it's bringing this up for me, but it also allows them to be like, you do this thing, or can we, expand? And then we're like, cool, let's talk about sex. Like, I've been thinking I'd like to try this. How do you feel about it? And then if they're like, oh, I've never thought about that. Maybe then you're like, cool. Do you want to try this? Yes, no, maybe. Listen, maybe we can learn and expand some more. Maybe some things we've never thought about. No matter how long you're with someone, you're never going to know them 100%.
Yeah.
And also we evolve.
Yeah, totally. You're changing.
You're not the same person as when y'all met your partners.
Yeah.
And so you might be like, oh, now I've been doing this work. Now I've learned some stuff. People done sent me some toys. And now I'm like, we want to try this. And also like, regardless, like lube. So always being like, hey, so we're doing this thing. I love it. Got this new lube. We can also bring this in to try these activities.
Oh my God. I don't know why. I only started using lube, funny enough, when we like started advertising for it and got sent it like regularly. Oh my God. I would use it every once in a while, but
It's like
every
changing.
time now.
I was talking.
I used to get so much
like that.
anxiety over like whether or not I would be wet enough, and then it would be kind of painful.
Anxiety's great, isn't
and
it?
like, ugh.
Oh my God.
And then it builds up because then like sometimes someone goes to touch you and then you're not wet and then you're like, I am turned on. Or,
Yeah, because where does sex start? In our brains.
Yeah.
And people are always like, well, my genitals. And I'm like, no, because if you're not present, especially again, because we are in this nonsense, right? Like we're thinking about, okay, cool, where have you been? Even if they're your partners, like, where you been? We got to make sure we wash our hands. We got to do all these things. Oh, we got bills. Oh, I got to do that thing. Like, it's so easy to get distracted because our brains are constantly moving. And so, like, just being like, okay, let's get into our heads. Let's get into our bodies.
Yeah.
Kind of like doing stuff like that. Also, what I tell people, doing body scans. Like just connecting with your body. We can do body scans right now and none of us would know. Like just kind of like doing like, oh, let me see what my feet are doing. Cool. My ankle.
I'm holding tension in my neck. Like, I
yeah.
gotta relax.
And you're like,
right.
oh, cool. Foreplay. You want to give me a massage? Right? So then you're also connecting and helping yourself.
Do you have any tips for something I experienced and actually have only started experiencing in the past year? Intrusive thoughts during sex, which can look so different for so many different people. I've started having intrusive thoughts about like sexual abuse. Not that I've never experienced, just in the realm of possibility of what might be happening to people, children, etc. in the world at that moment. Not very sexy, right? In the middle of when you're like making out with a partner or they're going down on you or whatever. And I feel like sometimes when I get those thoughts, I'm immediately like, just like,
Yeah.
I'm just like, I don't want to, it's such a turn off. Do you have any tips for coping with intrusive thoughts?
Yeah. So something that I like to tell folks with like, you know, because that's a trauma response because the world is wild.
Yeah.
And like, it's that what if thing, especially in these bodies. People are like, do you have weapons? Are you okay? Like, stop whispering at us, first of all. But like, yeah, it's a lot. So when I think about things like that, even in sex, if you're doing kink or not, safe words. Safe words can be great. Like if you're having a moment, you can just be like, yellow. Like whatever those words are for yourself, to just be like, can we kind of reset?
Yeah.
Can be really helpful to kind of re-engage. Because you're like, can you just not touch me? Can we like just talk? Like get some water?
Yeah.
Also just physically removing yourself from that situation can be helpful. I wouldn't say like, okay, go play bingo.
Right.
Like go fully disengage, but like allow yourself time to like take a breath and then like kind of restructure like, cool, I think I'm good.
Yeah.
And then also like with your partners, what you set up, what that word means.
Yeah.
Like if yellow's like, cool, stop, check in with you, do that. If red's just like, stop, don't touch me.
We're done.
I need you. Yeah. Or like, you know, whatever colors you want. Or it doesn't have to be a color, it can be a word.
Yeah, I guess we've actually been doing something similar. Like we say reset, like, oh, I just need to like
I think that's
reset
perfect.
for a minute.
Yeah.
And then it's like, and it helps to definitely have the conversation beforehand, obviously outside of sex. So then it's like both of us get it. Because sometimes that happens even without intrusive thoughts or anything like that. Sometimes, you know, when, especially if you don't know someone very well, you're just kind of, you're in it and you're both into it. And then all of a sudden, like you both feel the energy shift, but you're both kind of trying to pretend like the energy didn't shift and you both just kind of keep going and like.
Been there.
Yeah.
Not fun.
Yeah. And then we've talked about that. And so now it's okay. It's not disappointing to the other person if you're just like, hey, can we reset? And chances are, especially if it's someone you love, the other person is picking up what you're putting down and they're sensing that you're not that into it, which isn't hot usually for either person.
Yeah. I think even if it's like random hookups, don't do it right now in the Rona. But like, you know, like when you are doing that, like just being like taking the pressure off, like, hey, you know what'd be real sexy? Because people are like, I feel like it's not sexy. You know what'd be real sexy? If we switch positions. Like I always tell people like you are in more control than you think you are. Right?
Yeah.
And, you know, I mean circumstantial.
Sure.
Abuse, whatnot. But like you're more in control. Also, a lot of people like to know and be directed because it also takes the pressure off of them.
Yeah.
So if they're like guessing, you're just like, wish you'd find my clit soon. It's not it. It's go give that some amount. Like, go down. Right? Like just being like, can I direct you? That's real sexy. Give me your hands. Here she is.
Yes.
Boom. Bring your face.
Yeah.
Like doing things like that, you can make it sexy, but also you're like, I would like to bring your face here.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah. I think that was one of my biggest journeys. Like as I've gotten older, one of the questions was like, do you think sex gets better as you get older? And I feel like, at least for myself, one of the biggest things has been having the confidence at that point to direct a little bit, because before I was just like, well, I I don't want him to feel bad. And then,
but we're taught that.
Yes,
and we
are.
talked about that before when we were talking about CBU and the Lord and all the things. But like we're taught to be like cute and docile and like help them achieve. What about me?
Yeah.
I too like a good orgasm.
And so many of these questions, like when I was going over them, I was thinking too, there are so many that are framed in that way. Like, I don't want to hurt my partner, so how do I do this? Which totally understand. I feel the same way. Yeah. But like you were saying, that's how we were taught. And it was just their pleasure.
It's a lot of unlearning.
Yes.
It's a lot of unlearning and confidence, which also I say like it takes time.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
It
And
takes
they
time.
also might get hurt. And also, that I guess I'm talking more for long-term partners, but they'll get used to it too over time, you know?
But then that's also like they have to unlearn their own shit.
Yeah.
Everyone got to unpack stuff.
Yes.
We've all been fucked in this
Yes.
system. But yeah, totally. I think that's a great thing to like actually have conversations.
I guess you could say that before having sex with someone, casual or not. If you're just saying like, hey, during sex, I might just say, I don't want to do this anymore.
Yeah.
Or like, I don't want you going down on me anymore. Or like, I don't want to do this. And that is like not reflective on you. That's just what I want.
Even
you don't have
in
to get
casual
it doesn't
sex,
mean you're,
for
yeah.
sure.
And say like, it does not matter. I'm not saying you're doing it wrong or whatever.
Trying
like,
to help us both achieve the best time together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We don't have a lot. This might be a one-time thing. Let's see.
Yeah.
But
So
yeah,
let's
it
make the
helps
most of it,
because
yeah.
most of the time, everyone's in their heads.
Yes.
How do I look? Do they like this? Did I shower? I don't remember. Was that yesterday? Did I wipe? What if because it's genitals? We use them to urinate and poop.
Yep.
Did I do a good job? Oh, I don't know. Should I do a little chat? Like, there's always things that we're like stressed over, but then it's like, okay, we're here. We both are opting into it. If we need to stop, we need to stop. Like, queefing is real.
Yes.
Farting is real. Burping is real. I have burped during oral sex.
How does one even do that?
Burped on a penis.
Oh, I mean, yeah. Well, yeah.
Like, this is graphic.
Yeah.
It activates some things because you're putting in air, right?
Yeah.
Whatever.
No,
Can I
you're
do
going
that on the show.
Yes, absolutely.
So you're
just
doing
never happened to me.
this, right? You're doing this.
You've never burped?
You're putting
No.
air. You're pushing air in.
Oh, yeah.
I'm just gonna keep doing
Just
this.
keep doing
You're
it.
pushing air in. Eventually, it's gonna be like, so it's coming out one end. How do we want it?
That is so
How's it going to happen today?
And then I'm like, I've done it and be like, oh, it's coming. And then I kind of distract, like, here's some balls. Do a little stroke. I mean, they're fine. They're like, my penis is in someone's mouth.
Yeah, exactly. It's so funny, too.
But that's normal.
Yeah, it's normal. And it's so
Like,
funny,
I've never had
too.
this.
No, I haven't. And I'm like, I'm like, what am I doing
Time
wrong?
to go try it.
No, I know.
I
I'm
mean,
like, what?
I've also had
I
friends
also don't-
puke. I've never done that. That's
Yeah, I've
I've
never vomited.
definitely done the gag where you're like, that was a little bit, that
Yeah,
was a
for sure.
hard,
I'm like,
that was a hard gag. Like, all right, pause.
reset.
Yeah, reset. Felt a little bile come up in my throat. Holy shit.
The truth of the matter is I've almost, and then I had the opportunity to run to the bathroom and threw
Oh
up.
my God, are you serious?
No, yeah. Sometimes the upside
Trooper.
down situation.
Oh, upside down. You're fine.
Yeah. You upside down
Oh,
and
yeah,
say
yeah,
a little
this.
bit because I don't have that.
It's better to deep throat that. My friend taught me.
Yep.
I-
Because I have a decent gag reflex on me, so that way I can do it better, you know. But
I
what's the
don't.
point?
I'm like, hands. Here we go. But yeah.
See, this sounds kind of crazy, but I like being in really wild positions where I have my, like, if I'm on my back and have my knees up and then he's over me, but that way I can use my very strong legs in the moment to go and like, if, you know, like move his leg, you know, move him back in case it's like gag, and then you know, pro tip. That way you feel like you're being like
You're in control. I like it.
But you also feel like you're not in control because because like if you're on your back and the person's like kneeling over you, so then it's like a really fun power dynamic type thing. But then you also have the control of still being like, I can just move, like immediately push this person off me,
I'm
which
into
could be a good
You know,
tip.
if you
for
got
people.
strong legs, use
Yeah,
this tip.
you use those. You use those legs.
I ever thought you were gonna be like, and then I strong armed them. I was like,
You're like, well, I do like wrestling, so
No, it's the illusion of not being in control while still being in control, which is
that
could
what
be really
most
helpful.
submissives and bottoms are. People are like, you're submissive, you're not in control. False. You're in control. You run the game.
ooh.
I like that.
You do.
that.
You're in charge.
Let's get into some of the questions. I want to just ask this one because it's going along the vein of what we've been talking about.
Yeah,
Someone just
already
asked-
you're answering so many of the questions just like organically.
Well,
you
someone
know,
said, "How do
just a
I be more
professional.
confident in bed?" So, like, I feel like all the conversations we're having come back to that. Like, this person says, "I only hook up when drunk," and I can imagine like
Used to be me.
sex in. Okay, then I'm excited to hear what you have to say. I was going to say, sex on its own can be so hard to have confidence, much less having we're talking about having conversations beforehand. Easier said than done sometimes to actually like
For sure.
speak out
For
what
sure.
you need.
For
So,
sure. Okay. So if we're practicing having conversations, practice. Like practice with your friends. Y'all can practice together. Like, okay, so I'm going to try this thing. How does this sound? Nope, don't say that word. Try this. Cool. Voice notes for yourself. So you can also hear how it sounds. You're like, ugh, that don't sound fun. Try again. Right? Like even just hard conversations, bedroom, not family.
Yeah.
Friends.
Such a good idea.
You about to have a talk with your kid. I don't know. Like practicing that. But how to get comfortable, trial and error, giving yourself grace, being like, oh, I tried a new thing. Do a little bit each time. Don't just jump in like, I woke up and I got this.
Yeah.
Because then you're going to be like, I don't got it.
yeah, the expectations are going to be too high.
Yeah,
You're going to
set yourself up
disappoint
to be
yourself.
stressed.
Yeah.
Practicing. Also, like, take a class. There's so many dating classes. I'm not necessarily saying like go find a dating coach, but you can. They exist. Like even just getting tips that way. I also just love like organically practicing, doing like speed dating.
Oh my God.
They still have it online.
Okay.
Really?
I've
Never done it.
I have like the best idea for an app that has to do with speed dating.
Well, don't
that
tell.
I've talked about on the show
Don't
before.
tell
I
it.
know I should just make it.
You know,
She's
theft.
yeah, she's
Really
already
good.
put that out there.
Don't.
in the
No,
universe.
Anyway,
it's okay.
continue.
We cut it from the episode. It doesn't exist anymore. But yeah, so practicing, trial and error, giving yourself grace. Also, like if you're going on dates, like maybe don't let the expectation, like your end expectation, and be like, I've just come because all I can offer is my blessing of my body, unless you want to, right? Like
Yeah.
I definitely have gone out with guys and be like, yeah, I want that. I'm gonna do that, right? Like, cool. And then so like I'm excited, but you're also nervous.
Yeah.
So then like having the conversation, like the easiest thing, what do you like? What are you into? Right? So that's even like just starting there might be really hard for folks.
Yeah, you said you only used to hook up when you were drunk too.
Oh,
like this
trauma.
person.
Trauma. That bitch. Yeah. So I would finally get that confidence because liquid courage.
Yeah.
But also it's just getting comfortable with myself. So that's also like a lot of self-esteem work, a lot of like body work, doing photo shoots for yourself and just getting comfortable with your body, the masturbation stuff, just exploring your body. Like it allows you to get in and be like, first of all, you're welcome. I tell people that. I'm like, you're welcome for being invited to this blessing. Yes. Here we go. I used to call it the Disneyland. I had to pull that stuff from my Instagram, but I would call it Disneyland back in the day. And I'd be like, Disneyland's
You like
closed.
trademarked.
I was like, Disneyland's closed right now. People are like, what? It's closed. I'm like,
You're like,
this one.
this theme park is not open for business at the moment.
Yeah. But it also was a lot of me just being like, what am I nervous about?
Yeah.
So it's like spending time with yourself and like being honest. Like, do I have my own shit I need to unpack?
Yeah.
Am I having this sex because I think that's all I have to offer? Or am I having the sex because I really want to? And then am I having the sex I want to have? If we're like no to no to no, then let's do some reevaluation.
Yeah, damn, I've been there. It's like I was like, oh, I haven't experienced this like this person. But then when you think about it, it's like
We've all done it.
Yeah.
Didn't really want to have the sex, wasn't
the
really
type.
enjoying it. Yeah.
I've definitely been like, is this over?
Oh God, I'm thinking of specific scenarios in my head right now. Where
Yes.
it's just like, oh God.
Yeah.
And you still are doing dumb shit where you're like driving over to that guy's house at 3:00 in the morning or whatever because he asked you to, driving across town, and then just having horrible sex.
And then you're like, I got a fucking bed for this?
Yeah.
All
You're
right.
like, and guess what? I'll probably do it next weekend when he
You'd
hits
be
me
like,
up.
lesson learned. I'm not coming back. So, right, but it is like the self-esteem also,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
finding why you're doing the things.
Validation, I
What
think,
are we?
is a lot
What
of
am I
it.
seeking?
Yeah.
And do I want validation? Do I want intimacy?
Yeah.
And also, intimacy doesn't just have to be that way.
Yeah.
Like people think intimacy is just sex, and I was like, no, like this is like an intimate moment, like hanging out with like people you care about. Like we don't fucking get to do that enough. So like just figuring out like what the things are. If writing things down is helpful for you, if doing an audio dictation, you replay it back, and you're like, oh, okay, cool. But like figuring out the things and then like doing the stuff for yourself, writing on your mirror, like you're a bad bitch. You deserve everything. Like my therapist made me write a mantra. I deserve all the love that I put out into the world to be returned back to me. And then I think about that. I'm like, am I gonna get the things I want out of this situation? Is it equal? Is it just for one person?
Yeah.
Do I care that it's just for one person? So it's like a lot of like self-reflection and being honest, and then trial and error, being okay with like, I didn't say all the things I wanted to say. That's okay. Titration. Say more words next time. Did you say more than you've ever said? Go ahead, you. And then what I also love to do is say, thank you, past self. Thank you for allowing me to get here. Like, thank you for allowing me to say this thing because we couldn't have said it last time. So like also like pumping yourself up, like,
damn, yeah.
we did a thing we've never been able to do. Even if it was just like, hey, I don't like that.
Yeah.
I've had those moments where I'm like, hey, can we not do that? It hurts. Right? Like giving yourself the permission to like also be in situations and being like, I don't love this.
Yeah.
And like you said, giving yourself like the credit and being like, yeah, you did that. Like you, something I have a tendency to do is like, I'll do something and then I'll be like, that wasn't even that big of a deal. Like, why didn't you do it sooner? You know, like you said, saying no, you know, like what, then you beat yourself up and you're like, why didn't I say no to that guy like 2 years ago when I didn't like that?
I was a different person.
Yeah, instead,
I'm like, I didn't know that bitch.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. And instead being like, just like, oh, no, instead, good for you for doing it now. Like you took the step in the right direction to do what you needed to do.
We're so hard on ourselves.
So hard on
I'm like,
ourselves.
I don't need all these critics, honey. Do you know what's happening in here? I can bring myself down. I don't need you. I'm great at it. Right?
For real.
Nothing
we know
you could
the
say
things.
I haven't told myself already, bitch.
Get out of here. Nice try. Get out my DMs. Right? Like,
Yeah.
it's true. And so we also have to like be gentle with ourselves. And like, even I was talking to someone today, like even like maybe reparenting ourselves or like saying teenage self, like you did the best that you could with what you knew. And look at us now. We using lube. We using toys. We're trying new things.
Yeah.
We're hanging off beds. Using our knees. Like, but you didn't do that before. And it's things that you've learned that work for you.
Yeah.
Oh, it's so true. I also love what you were saying about like conversations with friends. I never thought about that.
I mean, I'm lucky because my friends are mostly sex educators. So I'd be like, check this out.
Well, I was wondering,
Wild?
Are there any groups you know of? Like, because I'm thinking of like in the past, I had groups of friends where we actually like didn't talk about sex, and then I didn't, and then it took confidence to even bring that stuff up to friends. Like, do you know of any groups, or maybe Chatty Broads need to start like a sex Facebook group? That'd be sick. Because having people, even hearing someone else say, "Oh, I do the same thing," or "I struggle with the same thing," you're like,
Well, that's what I was going to say, though, that it's like, I know for myself, like I was too awkward to bring it up with my friends for a long time. And so like nobody would bring it up. And how I started to, because I believe podcasters are my actual friends, I started listening to like talk shows and podcasts and whatever. And hearing them actually have a conversation made me feel like I was in a group with my friends.
True.
That then allowed me to have the confidence to start talking with a few of my friends about it. And then everyone's like, oh, okay, yeah. Or at least half of the group, you know, some people are still listening and they're absorbing, which is great. But to be able to have that helped me be way more confident.
That's
like
really
moving
true.
forward.
I mean, that's literally what y'all do. I see the comments and stuff. People be like, I feel like I found a community, right? Like that's what we're all looking for. Someone to be like, oh, me too, girl. Yeah. Like, you want to talk about it?
Yeah.
And it is like, it can be weird with friends.
Sure.
Like I've been best friends with my friend. Wow. We've been best friends since we were 12. We were turning 34 this year. And then I'm like, we don't really talk about sex a lot. And she was like, yeah, we really don't. And then like we talk about it like randomly. And I'm also the dildo fairy. And I'm like, y'all want some lube upstairs? Got some lube.
You got all your
I got
gifts.
this flavored one. You like flavor? You want to try it? Like my friends come in my room like I'm a drug dealer.
Oh my God.
Sample. I'm like, you know, you can buy it. Like I'm not a candy store. But like, yeah, I think finding the communities are really hard, but like support groups don't exist enough.
Yeah.
Like even if y'all did, because I think it would be great for y'all's audience, doing like a Discord. Everyone's doing Discord right now.
Oh yeah, that's hot. Don't understand it. Don't know how it works, but
We have one for our sex
No,
worker
it's a
group.
thing.
My business partner set up. I was like, oh.
Like, sounds great.
Yeah, but like there's different like categories and conversations.
Oh.
And like people can opt in and like support each other. Better than Facebook, who's always like, oh, you said a thing, we're kicking you out.
Yeah.
Discourse is safer. And then it might allow people to kind of like take that exhale and then y'all check in or whatever.
Well, I know, like, even, you know, when you said with the with the podcasts, like even I used to listen to the old Call Her Daddy, which I know it's trash. Don't come for me. Whatever. It's still fun to listen to. But like the stuff that they would say, they would be like, oh, these girls are sluts, like in the best way. I'm not saying it as a insult. But then they would say stuff too where they'd be like, oh my God, and we're doing this and we're sucking dick all the time. They'd be like, oh, and I don't even come half the time. And it's like, even when you hear someone say that sometimes, like some girl that you might think like, oh, they are hooking up with all these random dudes and having like mind-blowing orgasms every time, to just hear like someone else be like, yeah, dude, I never come when I hook up with a guy. It's like,
normalizing that conversation.
Totally. And being like, yeah, okay, now I don't feel like less of a woman or whatever because of that.
Yeah.
You know,
that's another
those
thing,
conversations
just normalizing. And that's what I think a good podcast normalizes the hard shit.
Yeah.
Right. Like that. I mean, that's why I started Trauma Queen. It was like, we all have trauma. Let's talk about different traumas. And being like, oh, these are regular ass people. Like, even like, oh, they're a celebrity in my eyes and they're so fancy. We're regular ass people. People are like, you have sex all the time and do this. And I'm like, hang in my underwear with puppies running around, watching wrestling.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I'm sure being a sex educator, it's like, oh my gosh, I just bet you've
let me tell you how
the pinnacle of
stop
sexual.
asking sex educators if they can teach you a little something. I hate it. I'm not teaching you shit.
Yeah.
Okay? Get out of here. Or I'll charge you.
Yeah.
So, would you like to sign up?
You're like, it's going to be this or this. Thoughts?
Yeah.
But no, it's not. It's so just that normalizing conversation and like just figuring out different ways to do it. I know, like, even for myself, having those conversations, I found my different like friend groups who I felt safer having those conversations with. Because like you were saying with your best friend, how you all just don't even talk about it that often. I have so many friends that I don't, but then I have like my like two girlfriends that I'm like, they're my sex friends. And we always talk about sex. And like, there's just that safety there that just is kind of that unspoken safety.
I'm that friend for people.
Oh, I'm
and
sure.
I'm like, I've been non-monogamous. I'm queer. They're like, you go to orgies. And I'm like, yeah, but I go to the snack table and I hang out in a bathtub. They're like, what? And I'm like, yeah.
There's snack tables at
The
orgies?
snacks are great. They always have a large bathtub. People always know. Like, that's where you can find me. You can come in. Hey, you need anything? Like, right? And people just think I do all these things. And I'm like, nah, I'm pretty quiet unless I'm comfortable around people. I think that's like a surprising thing. But like normalizing like that you can even ask like, hey, are you into this thing? Or like, hey, I've heard this. Like even posing things as a question to some people can also be like a tester. So maybe your friends want to have this conversation, but everyone's just fucking awkward.
Yeah.
Because everyone's like, maybe they're going to think I'm weird. And then you're like, I like anal with this kind of lube, with this song playing and disco lights. They're like, me too.
Just drop.
You're like, what? Like, who knows? But like posing as a question, hey, have you ever heard of this thing?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Have you seen this? Or be like, here's this book. Like, you want to do a book club? Like,
I
50
felt
Shades changed the world.
that's what I was gonna say. I was just about to say, I'm like, I think it's trash, but what it did
great.
was allowed all these conversations to start happening
Between
especially-
moms, between,
Yep.
just
Everyone.
all of a sudden I'm having a conversation with my mother about kink, and I'm like, she never would have had this conversation with
Have
me
I told you
before.
about the conversation I had with my mom about kink?
No.
Oh, tell us, please.
Lord.
By the way, I have a couple questions
Yeah,
when we
please,
get there.
ask
That's
me
why I
all
have
the
my phone out. But
questions.
please tell the story.
I'm here.
I just wanted to just looking at the questions, just so you guys know.
I
I'm
know
not
you're
tuning
invested.
out. All right.
You're here. And so I was like, yeah. So when I was like, yeah, so I'm queer, non-monogamous, I'm also open to monogamy. Cool. And she's like, And I was like, yeah. And, she was like, you go to these parties. Do you like to get hit? No, she said, do you like to get beat? I said, I'm sorry? Do I like to get beat? I was like, I like impact play. Nikki, what the hell is that? Because my mom calls me Nikki. Nikki, what the hell is that? Also, she's in her 70s. She will be 79 in May, just for context. This was like 5 years ago, still in her 70s. And she's like,
Wait. Where are you? I'm forgetting the whole story. But you were raised in like a Christian home, right?
Yes.
Ish.
Okay.
Yeah.
CB, the conversation about CBU got brought up because
Oh,
she had
yeah.
a year there.
Okay.
I did. Yeah, I finished my
No, I
school
remember
there.
that.
Went to school. Jesus, help me. Thank you so much. But yeah, she's like, do you like to... I don't know why she
said,
looked
"Do you
around
like
too.
to get beat?"
She looked around. I was like, there's no one the fuck here. Do you like to get beat? I was like, I mean, I like, some impact play. What the hell is that? I was like, I like butt punching. What? I was like, yeah, a little boop boop. Oh gosh, I just don't think I could ever. And I was like, cool fact, you don't have to. And she was like, you're right. And she'll ask questions every now. And it always starts with, okay, don't get mad, but I have a question. And I'm
Don't
like,
get mad. It's just like,
what you got today, girl? That's our relationship in a nutshell. Yeah. Do you
oh
like
my
to
God.
get beat? Funniest thing. Like, I laughed so hard. And then she'll be like, did you ever think you'd be here? And I'm like, be where? She's like, and all this sex stuff. I didn't think so. I am so proud of you, though. Just doing so many things.
Oh, that's so lovely, though.
It's been a journey.
Yeah. Not overnight. Okay, broad. So let's be real for a second. For a lot of people, us included, these past 12 months have been defined by a lot of anxiety, stress, trouble sleeping, or possibly even all three.
So I'm not alone.
Yeah,
Okay.
nope, not alone. There was a time a few months ago where every single night it would take me like 3 or 4 hours to fall asleep, which, spoiler alert, does not make for a happy Jess. I'm a grumpy queen when I'm not getting, a decent
And
amount
if
of
mama
sleep.
ain't happy, nobody's happy.
Nobody's happy. I'm so glad, and everyone in my home is so glad that I started using Feels Premium CBD regularly to help regulate my sleep schedule. It's done wonders for helping me fall asleep and stay asleep and wake up well rested, and it's helped my anxiety a lot.
I have used a lot of different types of CBD, but I have a special place in my heart for Feels, I gotta say.
Top notch.
You may have lots of questions about what Feels CBD is and how it works, and that's fine because CBD can have a scary stigma, but in reality, it's one of the best ways to help naturally reduce stress, anxiety, pain, and sleeplessness. And whenever you feel you need it, just place a few drops of Feels under your tongue. Within minutes, you'll start to feel the difference. And if you want someone to walk you through the process, Feels offers a free CBD hotline to help guide your experience and determine the right use for you.
And because it's a natural remedy, there's zero high, hangover, or risk of addiction. If Feels is right for you, you can join the community to get your premium CBD delivered to your door every month. You'll end up saving money on every order, and you can pause or cancel at any time, hassle-free.
Feels has us feeling our best every day, and it can help you too. Become a member today by going to feels.com/chatty, and you'll get 50% off your first order with free shipping. That's feals.com/chatty to become a member, and you'll get 50% automatically taken off your first order with free shipping. That's feels.com/chatty.
Well, I am on a constant mission to streamline my to-do list these days. The best and easiest way to do that is by taking things online, especially nowadays. Groceries, get them delivered. Doctor's appointments, hello, new online apps, okay? But did you know there's even an option to cut out those bothersome trips to the post office? It is stamps.com, and stamps.com is the one website you need to make sure you never stand in line at the post office again.
We're not kidding when we say that either. Since I started using stamps.com, I literally have not stepped foot inside a post office. I love it. There's just no need. Because with stamps.com, you can do everything you'd normally do in store right from your home computer. You just use your computer to print official US postage 24/7 for any letter, any package, any class of mail, anywhere you want to send.
And not only is using stamps.com going to save you a lot of time, it's also going to save you a lot of money too. You'll get discounts you can't even get at the post office, like 40% off mailing rates and up to 62% off UPS shipping rates, which add up and can cost a lot. So you save a lot through stamps.com. So many savings. It really is a no-brainer.
Stop wasting time going to the post office and go to stamps.com instead. There's no risk. And with our promo code CHATTY, you get a special offer that includes a 4-week trial. Plus, you get free postage at a digital scale. I have the digital scale. I love it. No long-term commitments or contracts. Just go to stamps.com. You click the mic at the top of the homepage and type in CHATTY. That's stamps.com, promo code CHATTY. Stamps.com. You never have to go to the post office again. Praise the Lord. Okay, I got a question. I gotta. Okay, this is a little bit heavier, but I think it's actually really important.
Yep.
I have vaginismus, which makes penetrative sex extremely painful and most of the time not at all possible. As a very horny and extroverted young woman, this has been a huge obstacle in my love life. It's hard to feel sexy and outgoing when I know I have this roadblock keeping me from fully tapping into my sexuality, and it keeps me from feeling confident in myself and my body. It's really hard to connect with someone when I have this wall, and it's been difficult to keep out the thoughts that my body is broken.
Yeah. I think that's a big thing. I'm actually going to do some research on that. Just for school, just cuz.
Yeah.
But I think taking off that penetrative sex is the only type of sex that you can have. Right? Like people think that's the only thing. Like there's so many other ways to become aroused. There's so many ways to reach orgasm. Most of us don't reach orgasm with internal sex anyway.
Yep.
And then having patience with yourself, you can see like a specialist. It might be hard to find a specialist, but they do exist. Figuring out if there's certain things that you can do for your body. Maybe you're like, oh, I can do one finger. And maybe that's the thing. Also, I know some folks do dilators.
Yeah, I've heard of that too.
And then dilators don't look the same as they used to. They used to be real scary looking. Now they're kind of like more approachable. And so if that's something that you're like, okay, I really want to do this for my body, bet, do it. But be patient with yourself. Also using lube at all times. And also being okay with, this doesn't work right now.
Yeah.
Right? Like your body's not broken. Your body just is different. Everyone's body is different.
Yeah.
Everyone doesn't love penetrative sex, even if they can
Absolutely. Totally.
receive that. Also, you know, maybe try a little anal. I don't know. We got butts, but clitorises are great. Oral sex is great. Finding other erogenous zones might be great. I know friends that you can blow in their nipples and they can have an orgasm. I am jealous. I'm like, you just get a little blow and it's over? Right? Like maybe you just have to figure out like different ways to tune your body that works for you, but you're not broken.
Yeah. I noticed a part of this question, this person said, you know, it keeps me from fully tapping into my sexuality. And I guess I just don't think that, I think that might be a lie that culture is selling this person, you know, that if you can't have penetrative sex, you're not fully tapping into your body.
1,000%.
Definitely understand the feeling of feeling left out if everyone around you is talking about it. But I think that it is a lie that we're sold that this is like the sex. And it's also a very heteronormative version of the sex. Like this is the sex.
Man, woman, penis, vagina.
Yes.
One hole.
Penetration. Right.
We've got a hole and that's where we do it, right? Like there's so many other things you can do. So I think taking that pressure off yourself and being like, cool, maybe that's not the best thing for me. And maybe sometimes it does work. Also, maybe I do dilators. Maybe I try lubes. Maybe I try arousal sprays that maybe loosen you up a little bit more. Maybe a little CBD. Some people like maca, the herbal maca. But also it's like figuring out what works for your body, because even if all of us have vaginismus, all of the things that are going to work for you are not going to work for me.
Yeah.
So trial and error and like being patient.
Yeah, I was going to say, also I imagine it can be super frustrating. So maybe like taking just penetration completely off the table can, because I've been in that mode before where something's not working. It's just like, why isn't this
Or also
happening?
You're like, I'm just not feeling it.
Yeah.
You know what kind of, can we just have oral?
Yeah.
You can get a little, you can touch these titties, do a little oral. That feels good for the day.
Yeah.
Right? Like even if you're doing hookups, it doesn't just have to be penetrative sex.
Yeah, and you know what? Or penis and vagina sex, like you're saying. Because you know, this question, which I completely understand where this person is coming from.
Yeah.
But, you know, keeping this person from fully tapping into their sexuality, you know, are men who have, or, you know, people with penises having sex with each other, having anal, are they not fully tapping into their sexuality? No,
I mean,
you know,
erectile dysfunction's also a thing. ED is
right.
a thing.
I mean, are like lesbians who are not having penetrative or penis and vagina sex not fully tapping into their sexuality?
I know so many
like
people that are just like, it's not my jam.
There's so many people who don't have penis and vagina sex that fully tap into their sexuality in other ways. So you're not alone in that. You know, like there's plenty of people in the world that fully come into their sexuality without penis and vagina sex.
I would like to invite you, whoever wrote this in, to kind of just explore other erogenous zones for yourself. Figure out what sexuality means to you. So maybe you need to redefine it and not look in Cosmo or Teen People Vogue, whoever wrote it.
Or Pornhub.
Pornhub, it can be great, but
Yep.
also it cannot be. It's not a teacher. It's entertainment. But yeah, maybe just trying like taking that off the table and then seeing what your body does like. And then if you want to try doing the different things, then do it. But do it like on your own accord. Do those practice dates. Set yourself up, feel great, set the energy for yourself. And then maybe you also learn that maybe your body needs certain types of preps for you to even feel in the moment. Because I know if someone's just like, hey, if someone walked in right now, I was about to say, if Evan walked in right now and he was like, you ready? You're like, no, I am not.
Absolutely not.
Right?
Yeah.
Because that's not your prep. And some folks might be like, yes, I am. Guys, we got to cut. Give me about 20. I'll be back.
Be right back.
Right?
You know what? Give me 2.
Yeah. Let's make this quick.
Just gonna go outside around the corner. It'll be fine. Right? Like, so finding what your sexy looks like, finding what sexuality looks like, and then figuring out what works for your body. Because PV sex isn't the only way.
PV sex. I like that. This isn't a question, but I can imagine it's something that people experience, and I'd like to ask you about it. What about people who have experienced trauma who just, we're not even going to PV sex. We're talking about any kind of touch is triggering, difficult, completely off-putting. And I even know some people who haven't experienced any kind of physical trauma, you know, like let's say married couple who, because of just history and expectations, even when their husband tries to touch them to give them a massage or something, it's like, stop it. Like I hear people describing that sometimes where it's just like, stop, I don't want you touching me. How do you even start to work through that? Because I can imagine even like the idea of masturbation or even like making out with a partner might seem incredibly daunting. Where do you begin and how do you even start a journey towards discovering your own pleasure or feeling comfortable with any kind of physical, intimate connection with someone
Have
else?
to be willing to find the root. Like the hard part is like figuring out why this is happening. So maybe talk therapy works, maybe somatic therapy, since we're talking about body things. People are like, what? There's other therapies? There's so many different types of therapies. But even with any type of trauma, I like somatic because we hold trauma in our bodies. Just like when you're saying like the touch.
Yeah.
Our vaginas sometimes might be like, no, I'm going to go ahead and just shut it down. And that can be trauma. That can be stress. That can be because we're thinking of other things, right? So somatic allows you to kind of honey, yes. Somatic allows you to kind of like work through and like find where those areas are in your body. Talk therapy is great too. But also if you're like, yeah. I'm not doing any of that. I also don't have the money for it, which totally understand. You're going to have to spend some time with yourself, right? Like it doesn't have to be like a date night, but you have to kind of sit and just be like, have some hard talks with yourself. Maybe that looks like journaling. Maybe that looks like doing some art, right? Like just spending time with yourself and being like, okay, this is something that I want to work on. These are some things I need support in. Maybe also joining a support group where other people are also struggling that way. Like in our support groups, which we start back Friday for survivors, like we have whole days where people are like, I just don't want to be touched. And people are like, great, let me tell you what I tried to do. I have vaginismus. Like, let me tell you what I did, right? Like, so also finding other people that normalize that for you might be helpful to also get out of your head that you aren't normal.
Broken.
Yeah, the normal, the broken. And then having that conversation with whomever you were with and being like, hey, I want to do this, but this is going to be some time. Like, can we work on this? Maybe we ease into it, right? Like maybe we just do a little two finger hold. Like maybe we're not fully holding hands. Maybe you want to touch me. Maybe can we just start with like touching the top of my hand?
With zero expectations for progression.
Yeah. But you're having the conversation, but also being willing to be like, okay, I'm good.
Yeah.
Right. I think titration, like with trauma across the board, up or down, I think it takes time. It takes patience. And I always say it takes grace for yourself.
Yeah.
And not being like, well, I should be here already. I should be doing this thing because my friends are doing it. And I know other 30-year-olds are doing it. Like, you don't know really what everybody's doing at home.
Yeah.
All these celebrities and folks you're following on the gram, honey, not their lives. Right? Like,
Yep.
do what works for you, but also like the exploration of self like finding the root and be like, oh, I know why this is. And then you start to work on that, unpack it. Again, if you're like, I'm skipping that, I don't want to do that, totally okay. Do you? You're going to have to come back to it. But titration, doing the little things, giving yourself permission to be like, here's what I can do today. And then that'll be it. Or if you're like doing the thing, back to our safe words. Red, your partner knows, disengage.
Even with just a massage or something. Yeah.
And then you can also be like, you did good.
Yeah.
You look in the mirror like, bitch, you did a little more today. Or like, I send myself gifts.
Love
and
that.
I send myself gifts. And then I'm like, you probably need this. Love your past self. So maybe doing like little things for yourself, like buying yourself a journal or something, be like, you'll probably need to write some shit down because we're holding a lot in. Love your past self. So like just creating things for you to reconnect with yourself to kind of understand your body can be really helpful.
I think also sometimes like being okay with being honest with yourself if you don't want anything, you know? Because you were saying like, oh, if this is something that I want to work towards, I imagine some people might be in a place where they're like, you know, if I'm being honest with myself, I don't want
That's
that.
what I said. Like
Right now, I don't want to get to a place where I can have like penetrative sex or where I can, you know, have someone give me a massage. I really actually just don't want that. I don't want anyone to touch me.
I have days where I'm like, ugh, the thought of being bothered. Honey, no. And then I'm like, oh, I miss intimacy.
Yeah.
Right? And I think it's also okay to normalize that you might feel different every day.
Yeah.
Yep.
We have a lot of questions about that.
Yeah.
Why am I grossed out by my boyfriend for 5 days and don't want to have sex
did he
with him?
shower?
Yeah.
Did he fart on you? I don't know.
What's going on in your life? Are you having a lot of stress at work? Like that's okay.
Does he eat a lot of garlic? Does he smell?
Yeah.
I don't know. But I mean, these are things like we can't tap into it, but like also every day is different.
Yeah.
Our emotions, feelings and emotions change by day. The things in the world can constantly affect us.
Yeah.
When people are like, I've never been in a traumatic situation, I'm like, were you alive in 2020? Great. We've all been in a collective trauma, which affects the way that we are moving through everything else. Like I said, we're constantly thinking about it.
Yeah.
Because it stops our normal activities of what we were doing this time last year. Like, so also being mindful of like, hey, maybe you're grossed out and don't want to be bothered just because you saw something. You're like, ugh, men right now. I do it.
Yeah.
Just straight up, I got traumatized by a movie I watched like a few weeks ago.
Oh.
Traumatized is maybe a dramatic word, but I was straight up like couldn't stop thinking about it. You know, watching a weird movie or something could completely
The
throw
things that
you
we
into
take in. And we're always,
and we're bombarded by shit all the time now.
Always.
Nonstop.
Always. I'm like, I had blocked the last president's name everywhere and he'd pop up. I'm like, God, how? How are you doing this? Right? Like, it's going to constantly hit us. But also, are we talking about the person now? I'm like, now we're here. But like, being irritated by people, maybe you just need space.
Yeah.
We are in homes looking at the same people every day. Oh, y'all are breathing hard. Okay, you understand.
Yep. Love them, but it doesn't matter how much
Maybe
you
need some
adore
time
someone.
away. Like you said, I needed my own Valentine's Day. Maybe you go to the park. I know some people that are like, I go to the grocery store and I'm there a long
Oh my God, it's
time.
amazing. I love grocery shopping by myself.
Honest to God, the grocery store parking lot is my favorite spot in the whole world. I just sit outside before I go into the grocery store for like an extra 45 minutes and I just like stare into space and it's fantastic.
Because we need that.
Yeah.
Now, like it's also we are relearning what our normal is and what our baseline is. Everyone's baseline is different from where they were this time last year because we've gone through a year of trauma. And that's like watching violence on TV because now there's no censorship. They're just like, you want to see a dead body? No, I don't. Right? Like everything's on TV. All of the court cases were like, oh, so you're not helping women. Cool, you're letting all these people get out. All these frustrations, race things, gender things, finance, just the different countries, politics. There's always something.
Yeah.
So
That's
it's like
Wayne. Yeah.
giving yourself permission to step away might also help you like the people around you. Stepping away from them, stepping away from social media. Everything affects us, even if we don't think so.
Stepping away from social media can be a huge sexual turn on, because I noticed this one took a break. I took a 2-day.
About to take a fucking year off. Just you wait, bitch.
Yeah, she's out.
I'm about to be
But
out.
Do y'all remember Becca?
Remember her? Remember the times of Becca? No, but I took like not even a 48 hours like away this past weekend, and I realized how much it's been affecting my sensuality. Let alone being a parent and like being kind of focused on the little one all the time. But then after she'll go to bed, take a nap, whatever, I'm scrolling.
Distraction.
Take a distraction. I'm like taking in all these different people's stories and different
it puts
people's
a buzz in your brain.
and it's buzzing.
It starts doing a.
Don't get on TikTok and find some drama. Then you got to find the next video. You're like,
just like now I'm on the YouTube drama and I'm following all these stories and I'm
like,
just,
I don't even fucking know these people. I just learned about you today.
I'm invested in their comment section and I don't want to have
But yeah, your brain starts going like this, like just like.
oh yeah,
all day.
it's just firing off. And I took just off like one day off, and I was like sitting next to Evan in bed, and I just looked at him and I was just like, you're so nice to look at. And I just don't have my phone
I'm
there.
sure he was like,
Yeah.
I know, and he was
okay.
like, what? He's like, is this a trap? What are you doing? But I was just like, oh my God, like I've like haven't really, this sounds so ridiculous, but I was
it's
like,
true.
I'm like, I haven't looked at like the curve on your nose in a long time, and it's so pretty. Like I love it. And I'm just like literally absorbing it, where normally I would be sitting on my phone just flipping through everything. And it was like, okay, that was helpful. And I think that's something, the constant consuming.
It's a reset.
Yeah.
It's the word of the day.
I like
Reset
that.
is the word of
I
the
like that.
day.
I have one more question before we wrap. That I just want to hear you guys' opinions on this.
Yes, please.
I think it'll be a little fun.
She's got a look in her eye, and I'm
I
a
know.
little, what does it mean?
My boyfriend of 2.5 years won't go down on me, which I can respect, but it begins to feel a little one-sided when I go down on him all the time. I don't want to pressure him into doing something he's uncomfortable with, but it's something I would really enjoy and would keep me excited for our sex life. Help. How do I approach this? Or do I just keep it to myself and hope that one day he'll just do it?
No, he's not going to. No. Don't leave it up to him. Okay, welcome. Come on, get close. We're going to talk about this.
Come closer.
Come closer. Turn it up. No, he's not going to just randomly be like, you know what? Today is your birthday. You know what I'm going to try? No.
For the first time in 3 years. Yeah.
No. So this is where we're going to have our conversations and we're going to have hard talks. So again, have that conversation out of the bedroom. Mm-hmm. Have it in a comfortable space. We're all equal here. Be like, hey, so
when you're in the car one day ready to fight.
Oh my God.
I just think it's funny.
And you know people do that.
Oh, yes, I do it.
Guess we're on this road trip.
People.
Roll,
Like,
you're the
we
people.
got 3 hours. I just think it's funny.
And you know it's going to hell when someone says, you know what I was thinking? Or I just think it's funny. It's never funny. Shit is never funny.
You know, it's not funny.
Okay, yeah, so don't do that.
Don't do that. Don't do
Okay.
that. But figure out, like, have a conversation like, so I know this isn't your thing. Have you ever done it? Like, what deters you from it? Is it because maybe you've seen things, maybe you've heard things, maybe you've smelled
Maybe
things.
you had an experience.
Maybe you have had right. So you have that conversation and be like, one, my vagina, my vulva is different, right? Like everyone's body is different. And maybe they need like an incentive. Boom. That's the one. Thank you so much for the support. Flavored lubes works for all genitals. Maybe you try that. But having the conversation and being like, hey, because you know what's going to happen. One day you're going to flip your shit.
Yeah.
And you're just going to bite it or
I suck your
smack it or
dick.
something.
Yeah, I suck your dick all the fucking time.
Yeah.
And you'll never eat. Yeah.
And it's gonna go because you're holding, like, clearly you're upset,
Yeah.
babe. You wrote it.
You wrote it.
You wrote it. So you're already having feelings. So we're already at the shit's gonna go left phase. So let's have the conversation now. Just be like, hey, so I like doing this. And I also like receiving this, right? Like, I know you're not into it. Can we kind of talk about why?
Yeah.
And maybe you've had that conversation.
Yeah.
And maybe
we
we revisit it and be
Yeah.
like, okay, maybe they need to take a class. Maybe they're in their own head because they think they're not going to do it right.
Yeah.
They got classes that literally teach you how to, boom,
Yeah.
into it, the ways to do it, the different erogenous zones. Vulvas have a lot going on. And we're not even talking about the internal vagina. Also, there are 2 parts for folks that do not know.
Yep.
It's not just one.
Mm-hmm.
And you can find pleasure in different areas, different spots. So maybe having that conversation can be helpful.
Yeah, or even like, you don't have to make me come. You don't have to, like, what if we just tried putting your tongue down there? Just for like 1 minute. I challenge you. With 60 seconds on the clock, just put your tongue
60 seconds
on
on
my
the clit.
clit.
60 seconds on the clit, everyone. Let's go. Let's start.
That seems approachable.
If that's not a good game show, I just do not know.
60 seconds on the clit.
I'm like, I'm gonna text y'all like, have y'all tried 60 seconds on the clit yet? Next episode. We tried it, everyone.
Just so you know. But no, it's so true, because it's like just having the conversation, because my initial brain, my protective broad mother brain goes, excuse me, he's not doing what? But there is the conversation
My
of,
brain goes, has he been traumatized?
yeah, it's like, is there, and also, again, culture, society, it just affects everyone. Is there this expectation that he's put on himself, that he has to do this?
Maybe he's been watching too many porn videos and was
Yep.
like,
Yep.
well, I'm like, everyone, no one eats pussy like this.
Please don't.
I've done it. I'm a fan. I do it as well. I receive it, and it's never, if your face isn't here,
Yeah.
I don't want to see it.
Yep.
Yeah. If you're,
I don't want to
I want
see
the
you.
yeah, no.
Unless we're doing a trick, and I'm like,
Yeah.
no. Right. But having that conversation, because you're right. It might be something that he's been traumatized by. It might be that internal voice that's like, you're going to fuck this up. Don't do this.
Yeah.
Blah, blah, blah. Or that one time you did it and maybe someone had a situation down there.
Yeah.
I don't know. But I think they're not going to just randomly wake up one day like, it's the day. No, I don't think that's it. And if this is something you want and you are in this relationship, you should also have the things that you like in this relationship. It shouldn't be one-sided, because you're like, I don't want it to be one. It already feels one-sided, boo, you wrote in.
Well, also, we're talking about all this stuff on today's episode about putting in work for yourself. Like, maybe there needs to be a conversation where it's like, you've got issues around this. I need you to put in some, I need you, the partner, to put in some of this work to discover what's going on so that we can make some moves.
And then I'm going to say the hard thing. Maybe you're not compatible that way. And maybe if that's a deal breaker for you, you got to reevaluate that. Like, I need to be sexually compatible with my partners. If they're like, I don't like that. I don't do these things. I like to have sex once a year. And I'm like, well, honey, this was so great. I just don't think we're on the same page. And that's okay.
Or I'll be
okay.
having sex with someone else.
If that's a conversation that's on the table.
Yeah.
Yeah. But you know how you don't know? You don't talk about it.
Oh, yep.
And also you have to, I think probably prepping for the conversation too, you have to discover within yourself, how am I going to feel? Like, how do I feel if this person will never go down on me for whatever
and
reason?
that's where you got to have those hard talks.
Yeah,
with
the
yourself.
honest, like you're saying, the honest conversation, like,
Then you hit one of those.
can I move forward?
Well, bitch, they told us they were real sturdy. What do we do now? Like, you don't have to just wait on a partner. You got to take care of yourself. And maybe that's, again, being honest and being like, maybe we have to break up. I don't know. I said it's so sad and dramatic.
It's time.
Yeah. And also if it's something that is really important to you and the person doesn't even want to take the first step to put in the work, I do think that kind of says something about them as a partner. Like, I'm not saying that they have to say like,
sure.
yes, I'm down, because like there might be all this, who knows, there might be a lot to unpack. But if that person like isn't willing to even go there to like self-evaluate where they're coming from, and they just shut you down, I mean, I think that says a lot about their own personal emotional maturity, which is something that a lot of men are stunted in, unfortunately, which has a lot to do with
it's also
culture.
not, most
but
of the time it's not their fault.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a lot of, again, unlearning. Unlearning is our second word of the day.
Yes.
We
Reset,
all have-
we unlearn.
I mean,
Yes. But we all have unlearning to do.
yeah.
Like, you know, the church don't say certain things, and you're like, well, here we are. Like, we've had to learn what works for us and what feels good for us. And my hearing went out.
Yeah, that was,
Yeah, that was weird.
Okay, I was like, and the same thing for this individual. Like, you have to do what feels good for you, and not just be like, I hope one day, because it's not going to happen.
Well, that was it. I
Wise
thought that was
words.
a great way to wrap up the questions. I mean, why don't you talk? Can you just see briefly again what the different groups and resources are that you're a part of that we're going to link below? Because I feel like a lot of that stuff could be applicable to people who may be listening.
I'm like, what do I do? So I just started one-to-one work with people.
Oh,
I know.
A gift. Oh my goodness.
exciting.
And I was not doing it for a long time because of imposter syndrome. Again, I can kick my own ass. I don't need you people.
Yeah.
Right? So I started doing one-to-one stuff. So if that's like a thing that people are into, I'm working with a very few clients. That means you get the most direct of me. And I have different levels. I have one-to-one. Also, I have, if you want to upgrade, I have unlimited tech support Monday through Friday.
Wow.
Which does not mean I will get back to you in that moment, but I will get back to you as soon as possible. Better than once a week. So that's one thing that I am doing. And then Healing Intersections is where we do our support groups. So right now we have 3, which start back today. So when you hear this, you can still get in because we leave the groups open for at least the first 2 weeks.
Sweet.
Amazing.
So on Mondays, we have a sex worker group, which is at 2 p.m. Pacific Standard. We are not the gatekeepers of what your sex work looks like. If you're like, I'm just getting into sex work, I need support, I need community, come. Like, there's some folks that are only work with folks in porn. They're like, only mainstream people. No. If whatever kind of sex work you do, we have community for you. It's so much fun. The stories, the laughter, the camaraderie. We also have a discourse now. I should probably look into it. I'm on it. And then we have now on Mondays, we have our web trauma group. That is 4 p.m. Pacific Standard. Also, all this is on Zoom. And so it's for LGBTQ plus folks. So if you're in that spectrum, however you identify, as long as you're in the spectrum. So it's a different intersection of trauma. So it might be sexual, it might be family, it might be relationships, it might be all of the above, it might be identity. So it's like every week people come with different stuff. And you are supported by 2 co-leaders. And then we're there to give you resources, give you attention, help whatever you need. And sometimes the group will be like, hey, we got a question. Can you just like speak to this? Dope. But also you get co-support from people that are like in the shit with you. And then Fridays, which we moved the group. So now it's Fridays at 4 p.m. Pacific Standard. It's a survivor group. And this group is run by myself and now a co-leader, one of the folks that have been with us since the beginning. And she's super great. They're super great. And so you also have like someone that's in the community as well with you, right? Like we're all survivors. And then the conversations we have, like we talk about bodies, we talk about eating disorders, we talk about religion. We have folks that are like, I got religion, shame, and trauma. We're like, perfect. We unpack that. We got cult conversations, food, just like, how do I feed myself? Like basic needs. We talk about all of those different things. We meet once a week, 90 minutes, $20 a session. And you can come when you need to, but you do have to come within the first 2 sessions because we do close the group just because we want it to be a safe space.
Sure.
And people start to build relationships. Like these people are like, oh my God, we were on the phone. Like I'm always like, y'all are real friends. Okay. Like that support is always amazing. And then we have like online courses and we do trainings. I'm always doing something. If you follow my Instagram, my website, there's always like different little things that we're doing. And then intimacy coordination. I got brought into this. I actually looked into it. It's a very new field, like 2016, that new. And so
Yeah, I don't know really what this is at all.
yeah. So think about like being on movie sets,
Okay,
TV
yes,
sets,
yes.
right? And you're like, I have a sex scene, I have an intense trauma scene, whatever. I'm about to get naked. Maybe no one's even touching me. I don't know if I'm comfortable with this. You have someone there that is there to advocate for you, to help you get like the protective things that looks like you're doing things. They help the scenes look realistic. So you're having like, because I know we've all seen movies like, I don't believe this at all.
No.
Right? So that's something that we do as well. So we're starting our second cohort in April. And then we also have classes. So if you're like, maybe this is something I want to get into, we do classes and stuff, which we're going to do more of. So there's different things that each business offers. And then tending the garden.
Yes.
I almost forgot. Okay. Don't let me forget things. Okay. Because there's so many shits. So we haven't been able to do our retreat. So we were supposed to do it last year. And then Rona was like, no.
Yeah.
And the retreat center basically won't return our money, even though we're in contract. And they're $30,000 fundraise. Y'all, some of you broads donated. Thank you so much. We appreciate it. And we're still going forward with things. I know. Look at Becca's face.
I'm like,
That I had a really rough summer. I lost my hair from stress. I cried a lot. It was a rough time, and I'm coming out of it. But what we are doing, we're still going to have the in-person retreat when we can. But because we're not, I'm putting on a summit in April. So, so I'm going to get y'all some tickets. You can do giveaways, whatever you want to do. Give it to people.
Oh my God.
And so the summit that we're doing, I go to conferences all the time, and I'm like, what conversations are missing? And so that's what this is. We're having, and people are always like, you're having this conversation? It's with some of my favorite people. We're having being fat and a survivor. That's like one thing. People are always like, you're going to do that? And then I like I was like, is it cool if I call it fat? My friends are like, bitch, I'm fat. Yes. And it might be some of your favorite people, like Megan Tonjes, Jasmine J. We have a therapist on every panel because I think it's super important.
Yeah.
My friend Dirty Lola is going to be doing that one. And Lola's like, no, I'll move my schedule. I want to do that. It's going to be a ball. We're going to have neurodiverse folks with trauma, mass survivors. We're going to have being a sex worker and a survivor. So it's the conversation that people are always like, yeah, we could, but no. Like those people exist. Like neurodiverse folks have trauma and they're affected at higher levels. Fat folks, people are like, they're fat. No one's going to assault them. That's a goddamn lie. Higher rates. So we're going to have, and there's tons of other conversations. It'll be a 2-day thing.
okay, so the main focus isn't being fat and being a survivor. It's just one of the panels.
One of them.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So it's going to be a Saturday and Sunday.
Is there an overarching, like, is the theme
just being a survivor?
Being a survivor.
Yeah. So you can come and learn.
Cool.
You can go in other conversations and maybe you'll be like,
this is great.
oh, I didn't know this was also affecting me. Like we have a trans and non-binary panel. Like that's going to be dope. I'm so excited. Like I'm thankful that I get to do this. Like people trust me continuously. I'm always like, that's why I cry the most, that I'm like, people keep trusting my weird ass to show up and like do the thing. And like, I get to do that. And it's going to be all online. You can do it from home.
Cool.
It's going to be not going to take up your whole day. It's also going to be affordable. Most conferences I've like seen, I'm like 500. Get the fuck out of
For
here.
a Zoom conference, yeah.
Even like 200-300. So it'll be like under $200 for the weekend.
Wow. That's
awesome.
so exciting. I
Great.
cannot wait. I
I'm
can't
excited.
wait to attend.
I'm excited.
Are tickets on sale yet?
They're not going to be on sale until the beginning of April because it's with the platform. We got to do the money through. We're also having another event in the second week of April. So this will be the last week. The summit will be in the last week. The second week of April, maybe y'all want to come. We're going to do like folks that want to donate time. We'll be on the platform and folks can come and like opt in, donate $25 towards tending the garden. Which will be for all stuff healing. We're also going to start doing educational stuff. I get excited. And then like you can come and like hang out with these folks and like ask them questions. And it's kind of like a telethon. And so like different folks, like you'll know what time folks are coming. If you're like, I've been wanting to like see them and like ask questions and like blah, blah, blah. Like 15, 20 minutes, you could stay, whatever. But like donate
That's
a little
so
time. Cool. Money goes like, I'm not making any coins off of this. Like, it literally is just so we can give back because survivors don't have enough affordable support.
Well, we're going to be making sure that we get all those, like all the dates and info from you and we'll post.
Like, is that all the things? I think.
I don't know.
It's going to be it's your year.
I mean,
I feel it.
I have some magazine stuff. I'll tell you.
Oh my God.
I know. I get to speak. Okay. One last, like, toot my own horn.
Yeah.
Do it, please.
I'm keynoting at Princeton next month. Dumb faces? That's the same thing. My mom's like, the Princeton?
Yeah.
It's like called the Princeton. When they reached out, I was like, what kind of Princeton? Like a Princeton, like,
excuse me,
like a community college.
You're right, exactly. It's like Princeton, like the art university in Connecticut.
I was like, oh, I mean, I do it, but yeah.
Wow.
Cool.
So I'm excited.
What are you what's your keynote speaker thing on?
Here's the
You have a
wild
lot that you
part.
could talk about.
They want me to talk about me. So they're paying me to talk about like how I got here. And I'm like, oh, get ready.
Ooh, fun.
So that, and then the next day I'm going to do like a smaller conversation with like folks that just want to come and ask direct questions.
Great.
Oh my
Congrats.
God.
I can talk about myself.
Yeah, I'm right. I'm
you
like,
so much.
Princeton, when are you reaching out? No, bitch. Like, I'm ready to talk
like,
about
have you
me.
not Googled me?
I am an expert. Okay.
At me.
Yeah.
Bitch knows best.
I have a lot to say.
I've been through things.
I love that.
Yeah.
Wow,
Oh my God.
congrats.
So many congratulations.
Thanks,
We'll
y'all.
have we'll be posting about all the things that are coming out on Chatty Broads so that you all can continue to
Gonna be fun.
join and follow. I'm so excited. Thank you so much. You're
Thanks for coming back.
You're our
for
favorite.
having me.
I love you.
And Broads, make sure to listen to the OG episode.
We'll tag
if
it.
you
We'll link it.
haven't, it will be in the show notes because you really went into like we talked about so much other stuff today, but on that original episode, we really talked about like why you call yourself now the drama queen and what your whole story
We
looks
got
like.
deep. That's
and-
when we started talking about religion and
Yeah.
stuff. When
Yeah.
we discovered.
We got heavy.
yeah. But anyway, thank you so much. For
We
coming
love
back.
you.
for
Thank
having
you
me.
so much. And Broads will link it all in the episode notes, and we'll chat soon.
Chat soon.